What am I supposed to do? Well, it's my pleasure to introduce the first keynote speaker. He happens to be a neighbor of mine, too, Jeff Gerow. He's a video consultant for non-broadcast clients such as education, industry, and cable TV. He's a designer of studios and a troubleshooter for studios with a background in production. So without further ado, we'll introduce Jeff Gerow.
It doesn't matter if there's no audio, you'll have to hear me. I'm going to talk about where television is going technologically. 3 weeks ago I was at the NAB in Las Vegas and I got to see what the manufacturers want to sell us, and it's some pretty neat stuff. But as I was talking to Eric earlier on, one of the things that was definitely missing at the NAB was analog television equipment. There is no more analog television equipment. The future, is no question, is digital. The question becomes then, what kind of digital? And for an organization like this, they have one kind of digital, and for the people with lots of money, there are several other kinds of digital. The thing that I found very interesting at the show is the big buzzword these days is not like what the picture looks like, but actually what the data rate is. All the various formats are talking about how much data they create, and therefore what you need to own to make them work. The people with lots of money have data rates up to 50 and 100 megabits per second, which if you have computer background, you know that that's a lot of data. And yes, we're talking about making like one picture in your whole hard drive. But the thing that's really interesting about all of this is that as we get further into the future with television, the convergence of television as data and no longer television as television, it's now yet another data source that's available to you in your house, on your computer, whatever. The computer manufacturers and the TV manufacturers are converging at this point so that the TVs are going to be passing digital video. It won't be all that long before our television sets internally are digital completely. We won't be seeing any more analog circuits at all. CRTs are going to go away as well, because when you make a screen at various different sizes, which was the other big thing, is the 3:4 aspect ratio picture that we've grown to know and love on our little green screens here, that's going away too. Because if you can have horizontal pictures like the big screen people can, why not? So the thing that I found very interesting at the show, a couple of years ago, they would make a sign and they put fluorescent lights behind it, and that would be their demo for their equipment. Well, this year, especially in the Sony booth, but in almost everybody else's booth as well, there were some, I'm just guessing, maybe 15,000 or maybe even a little bit more, plasma displays in the 16:9 aspect ratio. Now, a plasma display sounds kind of scary, but all that really is a jumbotron that's shrunk down to that size, which was what was really incredible is you look at these things walking through the booths and you see this really bright picture and you're like, wow, and then you realize it's television. You're not used to seeing pictures that are that bright. That was a display. Now that's television. Now I have heard from inside sources that the plasma displays have about a 10,000 hour life, so when you plunk down your $17,000 to buy one of these, you aren't going to keep it for very long. So this year is probably not the best year to buy one, but they do really look nice. But that's really what's going on. What's really happening neat at the level that all of us are likely to come in contact with is a mere 5 megabits per second, and that's the DV format, which is something like 100 different manufacturers got together several years back and decided to put together a digital format that they were capable of actually making pictures with. There's a lot of digital formats out there that almost work. There's 5 tape machines that work in that format, and there's 6 cameras that work in that format, and you can see them all at the manufacturers' exhibits. But realistically, for you and I who want to go out right now and plunk down our $5,000, there is the DV format, which to my mind is like the greatest thing that happened since Super 8, Super VHS, because it's a format that is 5 megabits per second or so, 5 point something. It is capable right now, and this also brings us this wonderful thing called FireWire that the Apple computer company, one of the many things that Apple has given us in spite of their lackluster showing against the IBM PCs. The FireWire interface is a single wire connection, has 6 wires inside the wire that you own, and you plug it into your camera and you plug it into your computer, and they talk to each other. Not only does the data from the camera, the pictures, get into your computer, but you also can tell the camera to play it from your computer. One wire. Now, any of you who have looked at the equipment over here or have played with it know that attaching one wire and having anything actually happen is not real likely. But this, with FireWire, you now can buy a computer, say particularly an Apple G3, because that comes with a FireWire interface, off the shelf. We're not talking about extra cards. We're talking about a G3 off the shelf, which is $1,700 or so. And then you buy your camera with a FireWire output, and that can be as cheap as $1,000. Now, a really good one's around $4,000 or $5,000, but there are the $1,000 one's not bad. And plug that one wire between your camera and your computer, and you are now nonlinear editing in your computer in native DV. In other words, you're not converting the DV format to any other kind of digital format. Now, admittedly, when it's digital and you're converting from one to the other, it's not horrible. Not like making copies on SVHS or making copies on even before that. But it goes into the computer as DV. And QuickTime, which is another one of those nice things that Apple gave us, the QuickTime file format, in order to make it a DV file, just has a little bit of data at the front that says, right after this is coming a DV file, and then at the very end it has another little thing that says, that was a DV file. And that's it. All the stuff in the middle came right out of your camera, just as though you were playing a videotape. So you now have a digital format that stays in that format exactly into your computer. And for basically a cost of around $4,000, you now can go out and shoot pictures, come back to your house, sit in your den, and edit them non-linearly, make a mistake, drop a new scene in, no problem. And then when you're all done, you can take that same data that was in your computer file and record it back on your camcorder again. So you end up with a tape that you can walk out and show to anybody.
And no copy degeneration.
No copy degeneration. You're basically making clones, and every scene is a clone, and the files are being maintained. You're not getting any artifacts from changing from one thing to another. So that, to me, is incredibly exciting. On the basis of that mere 5 megabit per second data, they also have, of course, the next step up, which doubles the color information. The quality of DV video is very close to, and in fact exceeds, Betacam, which is the broadcast format that most television stations are using right now for news gathering. The television stations that haven't already converted to DV. But, so in terms of quality, the DV quality, now we're talking about a $1,000 to a $4,000 camera that's equivalent to a $42,000 Betacam camera, image quality, because the capability is there. It has luminance levels that make the stuff that we're using here look like trash, and the Chroma does the same sort of thing that Chroma does in Betacam. But I won't get into too technical stuff because, believe me, you don't want to know. But the DV format is available from, as I say, somewhere around 60 or so different companies. The Panasonic, the JVCs, the Hitachis, of course, have many different versions of it. They have self-contained cameras with decks in them. You have cameras that can feed decks. You have standalone decks, that whole bit. Panasonic has taken that one step further. They said, okay, fine. We have DV, which is good. Let's double the speed of the tape going through the machine. And that'll make it even better. So now you're no longer at 5 megabits per second. You're now at 10 megabits per second, and voila, the color is fixed. So now you can do chroma keys off tape digitally. Not too bad. 10 megabits, that's not bad at all. So that's not enough, though. There are, of course, also, I'm sure, heard of HDTV, and the thing that gets me, there's DTV, which is digital television, and there's HDTV, and the D in HDTV is not digital. So HDTV does not necessarily have to be digital. However, in another 2 years, if you want to buy HDTV, it is going to be digital, because there is nobody making an analog HDTV system anymore. But the thing that's really hard for me when you watch these commercials and stuff on TV, you see these people talking about HDTV and DTV as being the same thing, and in fact, they aren't. And in fact, there's no relationship whatsoever between DTV and HDTV. There could be, but it's high definition, not high digital. So, but high definition television, they were showing, up until this year, there was basically the system that NHK in Japan created some 5 or 6 years ago, which uses a system ever so slightly different from anything we've ever used here in the United States, but that's pretty normal for the television industry. The the big game now is that we really want to make HDTV in a way that we're going to use it. And of course, the television stations in the United States have said, oh, that's cool, we'll do 2 different kinds. So what this all comes down to is the fact that our TVs that we've grown to know and love, our 3x4 TV screens with cathode ray tubes making the picture, are leaving us. Because for one thing, if you take an image from 16:9, long and skinny, if you take like the center part of the information and fill the screen with it, when you have those black bars at the top and bottom of the screen, the phosphors on those black bars aren't being excited. Now, if any of you have ever looked at the TVs at like airports or places where they run characters all day long, you'll see that after about 3 months, the characters are sort of stuck on there. You can see where the characters go on the screen, you can see where the background is. That's because CRTs remember what they've been doing. And because of that, and because all these screen sizes are changing, all the various things, you can't have a CRT that's going to last for more than a couple years and not have bars in the top and bottom of, like when you fill the screen, the top and bottom of the picture are going to be a little lighter than the rest of them because the phosphors aren't quite so worn. And when you don't fill the screen, you just do the black bar, it'll look okay, but it's, you know, we know that the destination for display is going to be some kind of a digital plasma, liquid crystal, lots of different options, but certainly not a CRT. So this is, and I'm not talking about pie in the sky way far in the future stuff. I'm talking about what the manufacturers are going to allow us to buy. And what the manufacturers are going to allow us to buy is going to be things like plasma displays, liquid crystal displays in color, and probably something we haven't even seen yet. It may come out next year or may come out next week. So that's, in the near future, for those of us that have to work in this business, this is what you have to deal with. There's no question it's going to be digital. The only question is what format do you want to buy, and basically how much data do you want. If you want a little bit of data and you want to be able to do anything in the world with it, and you want to be able to store it on your own computer at home, then DV is just fine. If you want to really impress people with how sharp your pictures are and how much money you can spend, then they've got a camera for you at every level. And one of the things that I found was incredibly interesting at the show this year was that Sony had a tape machine. You know, looked like a regular tape machine, stood about this high. You know, the only thing there was no slot in the front to put a tape in, because the tape machine was a disc array. Looks like a tape machine, acts like a tape machine, but inside it was just a bunch of hard drives. Records for 3 hours, high quality video, cost a mere $50,000, but this is where Sony thinks we're going. So, you know, I'm not saying, I've seen a lot of things in the Sony booth as well as anybody else's booth that never made it to being products, and I don't know if this will ever actually make it into a product, but they're trying to sell us a tape machine that looks like a tape machine, but it's really not. And the other thing that I thought really exciting at the show is there is one camera being made right now that records directly to a DVD disc. And there's no question we're going to go to disc recording at some point in the near future. It's really a question of how soon. This particular camera costs $32,000. So it's not going to be tomorrow for us. But it is coming. We are going to be able to throw a disc in the back of the camera. Right now there are some hard drive cameras that are made by Avid and Ikegami that you actually record onto a hard drive. When you go back to the studio, you plug your hard drive into the big hard drive, the server of the station, dump your data onto there, and then all the editing stations in the whole facility can access those pictures. So it's a great new world out there. Bring money.
Thank you, Jeff. All right.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
He said to bring money, so what I'm going to do in the morning, I'm going to pick up Russ Sanford and take him with me, and we'll hunt down to Sony and get a few cameras.
What are we going to do with all the videotapes, Jeff? All we have is videotapes. What are we going to do? Ashtrays? What, doorstops? What can we do? Servers. Okay. All right. All right, Jim. You're introducing our next guest as well.
Next we have Marsha Della Giustina, and she's an associate professor of journalism and public information at Boston University. She's won the Grace Award, 2 Emmys for the National Academy of Television and Arts and Science, and a Distinguished Broadcast Journalism Education Achievement Award. Her interests are political journalism, media management, international affairs, and gender issues. Marsha.
Actually, it's Emerson College, but I do have 2 degrees from Boston University, and I'm very proud to be from BU. The next millennium is the real information age. It really is going to be the century of information, and it's all being caused by the internet. The internet is going to create the haves and have-nots of information. And if you cannot afford a computer, you're going to be a have-not, and we're going to see a greater gap financially as well as information in this country and actually ending up in the world. So the responsibility is going to lie with cable access. And I think that when you sit back and really look at what you do here, it's absolutely incredible. I was telling Barbara Bishop and a few others of you that you really need to write a book about what you've done with Winthrop Cable, because it would give a lot of other cable access outfits, organizations, impetus to do more. It would also be very encouraging in the information age for those who are the have-nots that there is some sort of outlet for them that's not going to cost them a lot of money, but are going to be able to get information out. And we journalists, our responsibility is really to be watchdogs of the community, and frankly, we're falling down on that a lot. We're getting into celebrity journalism. We're getting into being part of the celebrity world. We're no longer watching about even our national government, never mind our local and state governments. And so the responsibility is going to fall more and more onto people of the community to watch what's going on out there. So job opportunities. Cable access, more and more, there are 500 cable channels that you can move from cable access into cable programming. What kind of programs are we going to have on the air? For some of us who have cable stations that sports is fine if that's what you're interested in. But if you have a wide variety of interests, then it gets harder and harder to be able to get something on television. So there's really a dearth of programming. So there's an area, if you want to be a producer, a television news producer, particularly, their jobs going begging. I get news directors calling me constantly. We're facing graduation. Do you have any producers? We want producers. And producing is where you have the power, you have the control. I'm a TV news producer. I'd worked at CVB and LVI for a total of 14 years. It's where you decide what the agenda is. You're the gatekeeper. You choose the stories that go on the air. You're controlling what the audience is knowing. And that's where the power is. It's not sitting behind the desk being a celebrity. Unfortunately, a lot of young people, and actually their parents, want to see them on television and think that's the way to go. And if that's your only goal, is to be seen on television, which many of you in the audience are seen on television here all the time, you know that there's something more. There's the power, the control, the depth of being able to pass on news and important information. Online journalism is the new area for us. What it is doing is taking the internet, taking the computer, what Jeff was talking about, all the new equipment, and putting it together. It's broadcast journalism almost wiping out print journalism. There's talk that someday we won't have newspapers as we know them. We won't have magazines. We're all going to have little Palm Pilots to walk around and check the news. And perhaps it will come to that for our grandchildren's generations. But online journalism takes broadcast journalism and a little print. The writing is very different from our newspapers. It's really 9-inch columns or pretty much 3 sentences per story. And then if you hit your link to go to a more in-depth story somewhere else, streaming video, streaming audio, and headline service, which television news is just a headline service. That's all we are. And we're going to be seeing that in terms of online journalism. There are a lot of jobs with online journalism, ranging from producing, editing, writing. If you have any sort of computer background, there are lots of jobs. Webmasters in terms of the industry, communication industry, the jobs are going begging. I had a student graduated 3 years ago, and he's already become a webmaster in New York City. And now he's created his own business. So anything in dealing with computers, multimedia, if you get into that field, the world is wide open to you, not just in terms of web design, but presentation for corporations, for nonprofit agencies, and political advertising and consulting. We're becoming more and more political entity, and it's becoming on a global level, so that now our news consultants are going globally and going to other countries to tell them how they should run their political campaigns. As that line becomes more and more blurred in terms of journalism, television production, and politics, we're starting to, unfortunately, become one. It's amazing in terms of everything is local. Tip O'Neill said politics is local. Well, information is local. And so that if you're on the internet and you're talking to someone in Ecuador, you're still sitting at home or in your office, and it becomes local. And our issues become the same. And it's important that we use that as a networking. I have a couple of things to pass out to you that's being passed out to you in the audience. And one is 12 tips for networking your way to a job. And this is universal. For those of you who are older, you've already done this, you've already become successful, and it's designed for the young people in the audience. And first thing is cold calling doesn't have to be cold. Picking up the phone and your mother's cousin's best friend happens to be in online journalism. And there's that terrifying moment when you call and they're going to say, I don't know you. I don't know anyone in your family. I don't know what you're talking about. And that rarely happens. But when you call and you say, hi, I'm graduating from high school and I'm thinking of going into online journalism or something in the digital culture, and it's something you're working on, I'd like some advice. Where should I go to school? What should I study? What's important for me to learn? It's not cold. It feels cold to you, but it doesn't to someone on the other end. And older adults like to give advice because we like to help other people. Someone helped us, and if they didn't help us, we even more so want to help somebody else. What can you do for me? Always have it ready. What can you do for them? Can I come in and intern at your station? Can I go with you, Jeff, and look through all your materials you brought back from NAB? Can I help you organize it? And so what can I do for you? And that's a contact someone's made with you, Jeff, and also they've learned something about the industry, learned something about equipment, and perhaps then they'll go in that direction or decide it's not for them. Whom can I talk to now? When you talk to someone to get information, say, well, who else can I talk to? May I use your name to call that person? And then that makes that cold calling not so cold again. Notes, notes, notes. Take as many notes as possible. Keep a binder, keep a spiral notebook. Go back, review, figure out what works for you. Thank you notes. It's important to write a thank you note, even if it's just a postcard. Thanks an awful lot for spending time with me. You made me think about digital culture. You made me think about what type of computer I'm going to get. You made me think about a different kind of programming. Let them know how your career is progressing. If you've gone to college and you're in your freshman year, drop a note. Say, freshman year was tough. It was tough, or freshman year was great. I had a really good time at my local radio station volunteering. Let them know how you're doing. People want to know how you're progressing. And every network needs maintenance. You need to go back and revisit it and say, where am I lacking? Where are the holes? Perhaps I do want to go with Jeff to NAB next year. You know, what needs to be done? I need to contact him and ask him, how much does it cost? Where is it? Is it possible I can do some sort of fundraising around my relatives? Can you all throw in $100 or $10, whatever it is? Because you do need to attend every conference in the area that you're interested in, every association. We have conventions on a local level in every area, on a regional level, and on a national level, which often becomes international. NAB's ending up to be international. So attend everything. It's important. Enter every competition. This is a perfect place. You do a program here and enter it in the Massachusetts cable competition. There are other competitions. My Gracie Award, I have to say, was because you aired a piece I did about welfare moms being educated to go into non-traditional jobs. And Barbara Bishop got it aired for me here, and it won 3 national awards because I entered them in about 6 competitions, and it won half of them. And everyone in here has an award, every one of you has an award, and everyone watching has an award-winning piece to do. But no one's going to give you an award if you don't enter it. And some of them are not very expensive to enter, so that it's important for you to enter. For those of you who are in college, we have an Associated Press competition for college level, for television and radio. It is news-oriented only, but it is a competition that costs $5 to enter. So that as long as you get it in by something like March, you can call me at the college and I'll give you the information. And you can win. That goes on your resume, but you also meet a lot of people at the awards dinner. Know the business and the players, whichever business you're going to go into. Know who are the movers and shakers. Know who they are on an international, national, regional, and local level. Know their names. Follow their careers in the trades. There's broadcasting and cable magazine. There's electronic media. And in each of the fields, and Jeff can tell you which ones are in the technological field, there are the names, the players, so you know who they are. And the last thing is believe in yourself. Because nobody else is going to believe in you, and it has to come from inside. But really believe in yourself that you can do it, because someone has to be an expert in digital video. Why shouldn't it be you? Someone has to be the producer of a newscast. Why shouldn't it be you? It has to be somebody. So you have to believe in yourself and have a dream. In terms of knowing more about the business of radio, television, film, entertainment, I've given you some information how to subscribe to Shop Talk. It's free. You get it on your email system for those of you who do have computers. And it's pretty easy. You just have to email to listserv, without an E, LISTSERV, at listserv, you just repeat it, .syr.edu. They use the Syracuse University system. And in the body of the letter, write in caps, sub, S-U-B, subscribe, scribe is in lowercase, space, and then everything else is capital, Shop Talk, space, and then your real first name, and then your real last name. The Shop Talk server will then respond back to you within 30 seconds to a minute, and will ask you to confirm that information. And then every night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you will get Shop Talk's little newsletter. And in that newsletter, it is what happened that day in terms of the industry, again, film, radio, television, entertainment industry, sometimes also some print journalism information. And also in that, who's going where, who's got hired where, who's got promoted, and their jokes. For those of you who are looking for jokes, Jay Leno's jokes are on there along with a lot of other comics. And then there's a whole segment of job hunting on what jobs are out there in different fields. And then there are letters. And this is the basic, it's not a chat room, but people write in letters. And particularly lately has been the media coverage of Littleton and media coverage of the tornadoes in Oklahoma. And then there's some fun things that are talked about also. It comes from Don Fitzpatrick and Associates in San Francisco, which is a media consulting company, and it is free. And then I gave you how to submit information to them. That's the last sheet. And again, it's subscribe. But how, if you want to write a letter, you want to put a job posting, if you want to submit a joke. So thank you very much for welcoming me, and keep up the good work.
Boy, how timely this information is. Tuesday morning at the Chamber of Commerce's Board of Directors meeting, we were talking about cyberspace. We have an influx of computer companies coming into the town. And here we are, the second smallest town in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So it's a timely affair.
Well, thank you very much, Marsh. It was a great speech. Thank you very much. All right, well, I guess I have all the luck here because it is indeed my honor to introduce the next guest. He is often referred to as the grandfather of WCAT, and just recently in this past year, just a few months ago actually, he won the Forbes Award from the Massachusetts Television Commission. The Forbes Award is an award that is given to one person per year in the entire state of Massachusetts, and it's basically a lifetime achievement award. And listening to the man that gave the award talk about the next guest, it was just, he said it was hands down, he said it was a no-brainer, and that he himself was personally impressed with the work he's done in television in the community, and especially with Winthrop Community Access Television. It's just a great honor just to introduce him and to work with him on a level on the board of directors, and to have him part of this station. So please, can we give a big round of applause to Myer Brill.
great being here. I don't hear the microphone. How come?
We don't have a sound system. It's just going right in.
Okay. Let's see.
Speak from the diaphragm, Mike.
Well, but everything you said is true. But, but speaking about the cable contest, I want to tell you, it's the first time I've gone to this event. I've read about it, and I never submitted a video. Now I'm sorry I didn't. This was March the 7th, I believe. And we sat and listened and saw video clips of things that were submitted from probably 30 or 40 cities and towns around the state. And I can tell you that the quality of programs that we produce here, of you people that produce them, are far above some of the ones I saw there. And I don't know why they didn't pick any one of the three we submitted, but maybe next year. So all I can say is produce, produce, produce. You know I used to say that, Barbara. I am supposed to present the Best New Producer Award, which is given to the person who not only makes a great first impression, but a lasting one as well. This year's winner is a producer who has not only started a new series this year, but has helped out on many other programs. This award this year for the Best New Producer is going to Pauline DiMarino.
Hi, Bill. Thank you very much. I love cable access. I love Channel 3. It's been a blast. There's wonderful people here, and everyone at home should come and join. I hope you watch Stories with Miss Pauline Tuesdays at 5, Saturdays 10:30. I read children's picture books, and gee, this is very unexpected. Thank you very much.
Well, I've hit the ground running, you know, so excited to introduce Myer to present the award, and I forgot to announce the award. That was brilliant already.
Not a problem.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Next we have another member of the Board of Directors, Paul Jesse Perrier, to present the Best New Show Award. Paul?
Looking for these job opportunities. Actually, when I grew up, I want to be a fireman, I think. But anyways, this next award, which I received last year, and I talked to what it entitles, and it entitles someone who does an awful lot of work to produce a show. And as we all know, you know, doing in-studio is not as difficult as being out in the field and then spending hours in the editing room where you can get at somebody's throat, as Bill and I have done on occasion.
I still have the scars.
Yes, well, you know, yeah, well, you know, it's a lot of work, and there's also the community interest, what you do for the community, what you do for the betterment of society, all these good stuff that kind of goes with this award. Jim, cut it out. I got the envelope. And actually, this person, too, is always there to help, you know, and I've noticed many times if she's available, to help out in anybody that needs a show to be produced or help out in any way she can. So the Best New Show Award is presented to this program created in the last year, which has made a difference. This year's recipient is a monthly series which has worked with MSPCA, resulting in the adoption of many pets, as well as educating viewers about proper animal care. This is very valuable. This award for the Best New Show goes to Shelter Tales, producer Kathy Driscoll.
Kathy, say something. Come on.
You know, I talked enough for both of us, but get in here.
Thank you very much.
You do enough talking for both of us. So, yeah.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks. So, how can you tell you're watching a community access show? The co-host just got beeped, and when he left, he just took off. All right, okay, things are going great. Let's see. All right. The next guest that I have is someone who's here a lot. Hey, Jim. How's it okay?
Fine.
Okay. The next guest is someone that's in WCAT an awful lot, and that's because, well, he's the station manager. We also like to nickname him the fireman because of all the fires he continually puts out every single day that he's here. And don't worry, Eric, ulcers are not going to be forever. Don't worry about it. It'll be all right. But now it's my honor to introduce Eric Gaynor to talk about the Public Access Year in Review. Give it up for Eric.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. It's such a great turnout. And I want to thank you all for doing all that you've done for this past year. It's been a tremendous year for us in public access. In fact, it is my pleasure to let you know that we just received notice only a couple days ago that WCAT has won an award for overall excellence in public access, and that is a national award. So it is... it's an incredible achievement. It's something that we couldn't do without every single one of your efforts. I'll tell you, when I received the letter from the Alliance from Community Media, I wasn't that shocked. I was thrilled, but I don't need a national organization to tell me that this is one of the best public access stations in the country. And the efforts that you all put forward into the station, whether it be big or small, it really adds up, and I thank you for your contributions. So without further ado, why don't we take a look now at a video review to give you kind of a brief idea of the range and diversity of some of the shows that have been on public access this past year. Shall we? Bill's the one that edited that highlight video. And as you can see from that, it was a very busy year, and I want to thank you all again for all that you've done. And if we can keep that momentum going to the next year, I think we'll be in very good shape. Now it is my pleasure to present the next award, which is the Kelsey Award for Public Access, which goes to the show that best represents the spirit of public access. Our former executive director, Mark Kelsey, was really a forefather of public access. And this show that we're giving this award to tonight is a program, I think, that really embodies a lot of those aspects. In other words, it takes issues which the mainstream media ignores or chooses not to cover and brings those to light, whether they be issues in our own backyard or those across the globe. So it is my pleasure to present the Kelsey Award for Public Access to Insights, produced by Paul Jesse Perrier. Congratulations, Paul. Okay, good job.
Yeah, Eric said, get rid of the hat, you know. But I said, as a volunteer in this small town, you have to wear many hats. And also the situation that, as I find myself, as the statement was made earlier, that all politics is local. And you start getting involved in the town here, there's a lot local. But I travel internationally as an official observer for elections. Sometimes I felt like only a witness. But with the sort of freedom of WCAT, which I think all shows, which are not the responsibility of Eric, but just us producers, and we have sort of become a family here, respecting each and everyone's point of view. And I want to thank you for the award, because I do like to bring in what you don't get on corporate American television, which scares the hell out of me. And I like to bring back a different point of view, because as I travel through the country, every time I turn on the television, I see the same point of view. And it's good that we have people who can express a different point of view, which helps educate us all. Thank you very much.
All right, well, congratulations, Jesse. And let's give a big hand for Eric Gaynor for the great job he's done all this year. Okay, I guess I'm up again. This is the Corkhum Award. The Corkhum Award is basically a Friend of WCAT award. It's for someone that is like stands by us, is an emotional anchor for the people who volunteer at the Winthrop Community Access Television. I forgot where I was there for a second. And this person that receives this award is just someone who is usually just a great person, a great positive influence to have around. We wanted Elaine Oliver to give this award, but unfortunately, I have some very tragic news. Her son passed away, so we'd like to remember her in our prayers, and we just want to offer our condolences and wish her strength. But another past recipient of the Corkhum Award is E. Arthur King, and I'd like to call him up, and let's give it up for E. Arthur.
Greetings and salutations. It's an honor to quote this award to you wonderful people. This award is for a friend of WCAT. The Corkhum Award recognizes a friend of WCAT, someone who in their own way has supported and helped the station. This year we would like to recognize a member who has contributed to WCAT on many levels, as a sponsor, promoter, and friend. For example, this past year, WCAT created its own web page, which has really taken off, at no cost to the station. We'd like to thank a great supporter, Paul Roy, for all his assistance with this award. Thank you. Greetings. Congratulations.
You want to This is actually, you don't get
Whoa.
to keep this, but
Oh,
it
good.
goes up in the lobby and stuff.
Thank you.
So, congratulations.
Oh, this is wonderful. Thanks, Barbara. You're always there. Thank you for this. This is an absolute shock and a surprise, and my stomach is turning about 27 times, by the way. But I do want to thank some people who really are the people who drew me into CAT. Myer Brill, I've known Myer for many, many years. Myer is not only the father of local access, but he is to me, just a great friend and a first-class person. And I have a lot of respect for you, Myer. Barbara Bishop, for many years, friend, supporter. Ron Vecchia, thank you. Carol DeMeo, Dick, thank you. These are people who are not just names, these are people I know. And I know what they put into a program, and I am so in awe of these people for all the time they put into CAT. So if I can help by contributing, my partner and I, that is, Ernie Hardy, can help by contributing, that's a very small price to pay. I want to thank you again, and good luck to CAT in the future.
Good luck. Thank you. All right. And let's, of course, just because he's E. Arthur, let's give him another round of applause. E. Arthur King, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Paul. We do appreciate it. Just someone make sure he doesn't leave with the award, okay? Thank you.
We should also mention that Maya Brill is a past recipient of this award, along with Elaine Oliver and Daley Souza. Anyhow, our next presenters are Jessica Butler and Teresa Fournier, and they're going to present the Educational Access Year in Review.
Hello. This year at WCAT, you saw a lot of Channel 15 productions. Along with satellite programs and computer graphics, we were able to program many school events. And as you know, this is done through the goodness of the heart from volunteers, adults, and students.
In the production of Viking football games, we would like to recognize adult announcers Joseph Moseri, voice of the North Shore, and Jim Liederman, voice of the Vikings. Mike DeLuiso and freshman Brittany Curran did the camera work. We would like to recognize for girls basketball, Chris Sumo on camera, girls basketball highlight tape, Anita Dada, boys basketball, Mike Delia, Patrick Milano on camera, Nick Siotis, Steve Mahoney, and Mike Bright were our announcers.
The hockey games were announced by Chief Tom Shamshak, Joe Masseri, and Mike Bright, and the camera was done by Jack Trina. And the Alumni Club video, Paul and Cornelius, myself, Jessica Butler, Teresa Farina, and Ron D'Amico.
At Winthrop High School, we do post-production, the satellite programming, and our computer message wheel. We do a lot of taping for classroom activities. A great deal of thanks go to Pat Curran, James Arena, Ryan Murphy, Jonathan Lansbury, Rob McDougall, Matt Monahan, Owen Trainer, and Matt Crombie.
And thank you to John Bentley for his export camera work in the production of the WHS Athletic Hall of Fame. And a special thanks to Jim Noyles, because none of this would be possible without him.
All right.
Take it away, Bill.
All right, the next award is for the WCAT Volunteer of the Year, and of course, last year's past recipient is a professional volunteer, an expert volunteer. He's kind of like our own MacGyver, really. You know, we have a broken editing system, we give him a chewing gum wrapper, and he fixes it. So let's give it up for Joe Kelly.
Well, last year I received this award from somebody who gave really unselfishly of his time. Anybody here knows him is Peter Souza, who was always fixing on equipment, working on shows, producing shows. And to me, this award is for the person who really gives a lot of time to the station and very unselfishly, and does the things behind the scenes that you don't really know about and you don't often see on camera. And every year it's a real hard award to give, but we finally singled out somebody this year who, when not working on a show, would come by, give a helping hand anywhere needed, and would show up a couple of times a week. And if anybody knows how difficult that is to get down here 2 nights a week, it's really good that we have somebody like this in the station. And this year's award goes to Jim Forster.
Thanks, Bill. Really appreciate it. If I had known I had any shot at an award tonight, I would have hired a tuxedo. What can I tell you? All I can say is this WCAT has done a great deal for me. I retired 10 years ago, and I found out that it's not good to retire. It's not good to be a couch potato. You got to get out there and get involved in everything that you possibly can do. I never thought for once that I could get up before a camera and a mic and do this type of work. But it took people like Eric Gaynor and Casey Quinn, who I am in contact with constantly, to help me do these things. And each day I learn something new. All I can say is thanks very much.
Very deserving of the volunteer award. Very deserving. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for minding the office and fielding the calls. That's really what he got the award for. He just would field calls that we get. So thank you. Thank you, Jim.
You make it sound so simple, fielding the calls. I know some of the calls that come in here.
Oh, I know too.
I get them at home too. Well,
my number's unlisted for that specific reason.
It's 8. Oh, am I supposed to get that?
No.
Next, we have Shawn Pelkey to present the Crew Member of the Year Award. Shawn Pelkey.
Greetings. With this award, we want to recognize those who are never seen, who are behind the scenes. After all, there would be no shows without the crew. They operate the cameras, microphones, lights, computer graphics, direct the show, and set up and break down. This year's winner is a producer who's always willing to give his time and fill in wherever needed. He has volunteered on several productions, both on location and in the studio. The Crew Member of the Year is John Bentley. John couldn't be here tonight, so due to his work schedule, so we'll make sure that he gets his award.
All right.
Hey.
Where is it? Oh, it's right. It's right here. It's okay.
This is for you, John.
All right, and it is motorcycle mountable, so he'll be very happy about that. Oh, yeah, that's me. Okay, here we go.
Yup, Bill. I'm Jim.
All right, Jim, Bill. All right, here we go. Okay. Right now, we are going to take a look at the governmental access part of WCAT. As you know, community access is channels 3, 15, and 16. This is community access channel 3. Channel 15 is run out of the high school, as we just saw. And channel 16 is reserved specifically for local, town, and government. And we all know how it is in Winthrop and how important that channel really is and how people are tuned into it. So in order to take a look at the year in review, I'd like to introduce Casey Quinn. All right, Casey Quinn is also the KidVid instructor. I'm supposed to say that, Casey. I messed up. All right, let's just not make a big deal about it. Okay, I just didn't read it. All right. What? What? No, didn't help at all. Thank you.
Okay. Before I go into government access, I wanted to recognize 2 producers who I think have done outstanding work here at WCAT. They're the youngest producers at WCAT, but they've contributed greatly. They graduated from KidVid last year, and since then they've worked on dozens of programs. They've just really helped us. Anytime we need them, they come down. And also, they volunteered to help me with KidVid, which is what I'm teaching now. There's 10 students taking the class, and they help me every day, and they've been a great help, and I couldn't do it without them. So they are Sean Burgess and Adam Giangregorio.
Nice job, Adam. Shawn, come on, say something.
I'd like to say one thing. The person that got us into KidVid was Mrs. Emile Demento, and she was our 8th grade English teacher, and so she kind of pushed us to get to this far. So I want to thank her very much.
I just want to give a big thanks out to all the producers down at WCAT. They've been a big help to us. They supported us when we were trying to do our show, pushed us along the way, and I just like to say thanks to everyone for the support. Thanks.
Okay, the past year was a busy one in town government, and as the program coordinator, a lot of my job is the municipal access, doing the shows. And the shows aren't just the selectmen's and the school committee meetings, which is what most people think it is. We also do the advisory board, board of appeals, annual town meeting, airport hazards, and air activist, and as well we do election coverage and candidates debates. But I can't do it all alone, so without the assistance of all our producers, it would be impossible to cover all the meetings. So I'm grateful, we're all grateful for all the help that all of you have done on the government meetings, and let's roll the tape. We have a clip of our highlights.
He said, enclosed is an updated proposal for the seal coating and relining. In parentheses, remember to call it sealing, not resurfacing, of a running track at Winthrop High School. I can hold this price through July 1999. This will buy 4 or 5 years, and it would have to be done when it's warm.
We will now vote on the main motion. The yes vote will be to accept or request of the legislature an approval under General Laws, Chapter 43, the Home Rule petition, that a school can be built at Fort Banks. All those in favor, please rise. There being 171 in the affirmative and 44 in the negative, the motion passes.
Gerald B. August, do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties incumbent upon you by your re-election as a member of the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Winthrop for the 3 years ensuing, in accordance with all the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, so help you God? I do. Congratulations, Gerald.
It's the people of the town that are going to drive this. We're the ones that care about it. It's our families, our homes, our town. We're the ones that are going to be impacted by this, and we're the ones that are going to get people to do things and do things ourselves to stop this. By the time you're through seeing some more things, you might feel a little bit discouraged. I hope it's David and Goliath, because David won.
What we did is expand our locations. We have 3 locations. So if you're a Point Shirley resident, head over to the Point Shirley Association. We have a barbecue. We have some activities. Officer Holden is down there. He's going to do a deer presentation about 6 o'clock. We also have Bill Floyd from the Highway Department. He's passing out some hot dogs and some other toys and gifts for the kids down there. There's Pepsi down there, cold drinks.
If the runway is built and your current projections are at 100,000 at 4%, is it reasonable to assume that the future projections after construction will be 200 or 300,000 additional landings and takeoff per year?
Absolutely
No. The forecasts are as follows. The forecast is the operational growth, the traffic growth at Logan Airport will grow about 1.5%.
But we need to get together on this. We need to develop a plan to move forward. I agree with this. It's good to put something forward in town meeting, but there's certain things that I think we need to do, and we've got to do it quickly.
Well, yeah,
and that's what I'd like to really work with you on if we can.
we're already in motion to start that. As a matter of fact, a couple of meetings ago, the Government Affairs Committee went through the thought process and said, we're doing a lot of things, but we need to establish some priorities.
Where does it say that a special permit is needed? There's no place in the zoning law that calls for a special permit. This is a permitted use, and the real question that we have is, did the planning board have a proper meeting when they determined to even file this appeal before you?
The immediate effects are, like tripling of the number of planes flying overhead. So if we had such a study, we'd want to do it now, and then we want to do it after the runway comes, if it came, because it's going to have a devastating effect on our community. Real estate values, health, our ears, our sleeping patterns. I mean, it's really going to be devastating.
Absolutely no consideration for the neighborhood at all. Can't tell me something, and then it's totally the opposite. How can I ever believe you again?
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to be clear, Mrs. Wickham, the amount of practice times you're asking from now, today's October 22nd, I believe you said up until Thanksgiving for the practice. Could you just tell us how many practices that you're talking about, generally, roughly?
Between 6 and 8.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you all. This is your work, and we're proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. You did a great job. Well, we're a great organization because we have a great leader. And he's going to come up next and give you a little State of the Station address as President Ron Moses.
They designed this podium to test my glasses. I don't have my computer glasses. That's what I need. We'll see if I can read with them. I think I can read better without them. But I did it in large print. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our 1999 annual meeting. I'm pleased, very pleased, to inform you that 1998 was a very good year, as Frank Sinatra used to say. For the second year in a row, the station ended the year with a modest positive balance. We began 1999 with a positive balance of about $40,000. This was the result of several key factors. By the way, financial statements will be made available to anyone that would really like to see them. We're still in very good shape, I'm happy to say. The positive balance was a result of several key factors. First of all, careful financial management by the Board of Directors and the Executive Director. And, probably more importantly, an unexpected and significant increase in revenues received from Time Warner due to increased cable subscriptions. This, coupled with a very successful squash raffle, while we maintained our other sources of income, such as sponsorships, memberships, tape dubs, and other fundraising activities. I anticipate that we will continue to have a very healthy future, regardless of whether we remain here at 165 Winthrop Street or locate to other quarters. Many of you know that we have been negotiating a possible relocation to the high school. Those negotiations are still continuing, albeit at, I must say, a very relaxed pace. Currently, we are awaiting the response of the school committee to our revised draft of a school usage agreement. I really don't anticipate any potential for a move this year, given the lateness of the season already. As you may have noticed, we have begun a program of improvements at this location. If any of you drove in to the station this evening, you drove into a newly paved parking lot, which certainly needed that repair. This was done by AAA Paving, who gave us a very fair price for that effort. In addition, E.J. Berry and Company has offered to paint the front of the building as a contribution in kind, and we hope that that will begin in the very near future. Other needed maintenance, and there's a lot to be done here, will be done on a priority basis consistent with our financial ability to do so. During 1998, as you can see from some of the clips that we've shown this evening, WCAT producers were very, very active. 20 producers took the 2 basic production courses offered this past year. Those are new producers. We now have nearly 50 members who are eligible to vote today. These are producer members, including producer members and also special members. And in a moment, I'll talk a bit more about special members. In addition, there are 10 or more producers who are active even though they are unable to vote because they are former residents of Winthrop who continue to produce at this station. We had 6 children in the KidVid class last year, and we have 12 enrolled in this year's class. Casey, I guess we lost 2, did we? Okay, it's down to 10. But still, that's very encouraging, and those are the future producers for the station. During 1998, Eric began a one-night orientation class designed to qualify interested residents as special members with the right to vote and the right to fill 2 of the seats on our board as provided in our bylaws. The purpose of the orientation class is simply a bird's eye view of what's involved in television production for public access. The reason for it is we feel that if a person wants to vote, should have the right to vote and the right to sit on our board, they should have some very preliminary basic knowledge of what the station's all about. And that's what the special orientation class attempts to do, and I'm sure Eric does it extremely well. It's a one evening class, and I think that those people who took it in the past year have enjoyed it very much. Several members indeed did take that class and are qualified to vote and to sit on the board of directors if they're elected to these special member seats, of which there are 2 on the board of directors. The board of directors will provide every effort to Eric to increase participation in this educational and rewarding seminar this year. We really need to enroll additional citizens who have no time or inclination to become producers but are supportive of what WCAT provides to the town through public and municipal access programming, and who wish to participate on the board and as voting members. I personally feel very strongly about the need to expand our special member category. I think it's very important that as many citizens as possible understand what we do here for the future of the station and for the town. During 1998, WCAT obtained new studio and portable equipment through the Equipment Fund, funded by Time Warner, and held in trust for that purpose by the town. This new equipment has significantly improved the quality of our programming. Our previous equipment, as most of you well know, was 10 years old, was a bit on the seedy side at this point. But the new equipment is wonderful. And we'll soon have new editing station as well set up. During the year, Eric offered several refresher and advanced courses for WCAT producers in order to walk through the use of the new equipment with them and to refresh their memory on some of the other options that they seldom use, such as editing. These classes were very heavily attended by producers, and I think that Eric did a marvelous job in conducting them. This year, we are awaiting receipt of automatic playback equipment, which will not only free up staff time for other pressing activities, such as increasing our sponsorships and memberships, but will also enable WCAT to extend its programming hours during weekdays, as well as allow us to provide more varied and continual program over the weekend. I'm looking forward to that. That should be a pleasant addition and compared to the 2-hour tape loop we currently play. As a measure of our activity during 1998, I have a few statistics which Eric has compiled. I'm sorry to bore you with them, but I think you'll find them very interesting. In the equipment area, our camcorders were signed out 760 days. Our editing studios were used for 2,909 hours. Our combined studio usage averaged 56 hours per week. That's Studio A and Studio B. Some production statistics. 363 original shows were produced. Winthrop residents presented WCAT with 208 programs, which ran 132 hours. WCAT produced 64 government programs with a running time of 106 hours. During 1988, Channel 3 cablecast 2,208 hours of original programming. In addition, when not broadcast programming, Channel 3 had continual broadcast of the Community Bulletin Board. Channel 15 cablecast continual programming from Winthrop High School, except when interrupted by WCAT-produced programs regarding the schools. These programs were broadcast a total of 404 hours. Government programs were broadcast a total of 522 hours over Channel 16. The Community Bulletin Board was cablecast continually at all other times. Earlier this year, at a state ceremony at the Museum of Our National Heritage in Lexington, our very own producer and director, Myer Brill, received the Jeffrey R. Forbes Award from the Massachusetts Cable Television Division. Eric has already mentioned that, but I'd like to reinforce what he said. This award is their highest honor given to the individual who has made a great contribution to community television in the Commonwealth. This is a richly deserved recognition, and we are extremely proud of Myer. I would also like to thank Paul Reardon, one of our directors, on behalf of the board for his significant contributions on behalf of WCAT. During his tenure as a director, Paul has resigned his position for personal health reasons. I have accepted his resignation with great regret, but I understand Paul's need for some rest and relaxation. Thank you very much, Paul. In closing, on behalf of the staff and members of the Board of Directors, I commend you all for your tremendous achievements during 1998 and wish you continued enjoyment and satisfaction in your participation as volunteers at WCAT. Thank you.
Do you know why we're keeping him at the podium? Do you have an idea?
Well, I do, but I don't know if this is the time for it or not, is it?
Yeah,
sure.
This is the time.
This is,
This is the time, the Board Member of the Year Award.
Okay, yeah. Oh, this is the announcement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like clockwork, isn't it? It's just amazing. You just wouldn't guess it. We're all volunteers. Okay. This next award is the Board Member of the Year, and it's presented by, oh yeah, Ron Moses. Here you go, Ron. Go ahead.
Thank you, Bill. Now, this award, Board Member of the Year, is traditionally given to that board member who has extended themselves over and above the normal extension, the hyper extension that every other board member provides. And the winner is, no, I'll read this. I think it makes sense. Sure. Serving on the board of directors is not only a serious commitment, but also very time-consuming. We thank all those who have served on the board in the past and welcome those newly elected tonight. We'd like to show our appreciation now to a director who has served for the past year as vice president and has chaired several committees, including personnel and building. We'd like to thank him for all his help by acknowledging our Board Member of the Year, Jim Myer. I'd like to I'd like to add some personal observations. As any of you who have worked with Jim know, he's always willing and more than willing to volunteer for any number of things. And particularly this year, I'd like to thank Jim for his tremendous work as chairman of the building committee. The first evidence of his effort is the driveway, which is painted and which is paved, and very soon the building will be painted as well. Thank you very much, Jim.
I'm shocked. Thank you. I don't know what to say. I didn't expect it. What else can I say? Thank you very much.
That's like another sign you're watching an Access show when like the hosts get awards. Like, here you go. Like, oh, thank you. I was already at the podium. Okay. All right. All right. Next award is one of the big ones. It is for Producer of the Year. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Producer of the Year, someone who does a great job being a volunteer producer at WCAT. And to give out this prestigious award is last year's winner, the man about town, Tommy Collins. Give it up.
Hey, everybody. Okay, this is awesome. This person, I thought this person was going to win it last year. I don't know how, somehow, they must have felt sorry for me, so they gave it to me. But this person honestly deserves this. Okay, I'll read this. The prestigious Producer of the Year Award goes to someone who has given Winthrop lots of entertaining program the last year. She is known best for her weekly series. But what a lot of people don't know is the many other shows she works on. In addition to programs on the harbor, health, and other issues, she also produces a monthly Airport Hazards Committee meetings, as well as the weekly Advisory Committee budget hearings. Some may call that insane, but we call it dedication. She's always willing to help other producers with their shows, and she's our Producer of the Year, Carol DeMille.
Don't want to look thin? I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We had a real good year here at WCAT, and while I was watching the government access, the reason I called you two gentlemen over is because whenever I produce anything with Casey, I look so bad. You guys make me look good. Thank you. This is a wonderful show. Eric, Steve, Casey. It's incredible the amount of help that we all get. And my partner, of course, Dick, who's sitting up back. I couldn't have done it without you. And my Jimmy Forster, who helps us produce every week. Thank you all.
Man. Remind me never to stand near Carol next time she gets an award, okay? Just know what's going to happen. I'm glad I scurried off into my corner. God knows what you would have said.
You know, I just noticed something, Bill. How come the printing they gave me to read is so small, and the printing everybody else is reading, I could read without the glasses?
I don't know.
I don't know. I have to talk to Eric, I think, you know? Anyhow, Eric is... All right, Eric, here we go. Our next presenter is Barbara Bishop, who's been with the station since its inception, along with Bill, and she's going to present the Program of the Year award. Barbara Bishop. Oh, sure, look at the size of the print. You know,
as you've heard tonight, there have been so many great productions this year. I'm sure it was very difficult to decide which of all the individual programs or which of all the programs in a series, and there have been many, really is the best of the best. So this is a very prestigious honor, as I'm sure you know. The Program of the Year is a show or series that stands out in many areas in content, production values, importance to the community, entertainment merit, and technical quality. This year's recipient was a live call-in show that had everyone in Winthrop talking about it. And before I name the winner of or the producer, just like to say this is not a new producer. This is someone who's contributed so much for so many years, and I'm really thrilled that he is receiving this award for Community Forum. Ron Vecchia. Start to talk about Ron, and when we were all influenced by television so many years ago, Ron probably was standing in the window of Myer's store in 1950, looking at the little images in Myer's store. 1948. No, he was too young. He was too young.
I signed him up with the Zenith franchise. Remember that, Mike?
Okay. I was going to make a long presentation, but I thought in the interest of time I wouldn't, but I would like to. So I'd like to talk about how television has influenced people in our generation. And we were talking about the new millennium, but Ron and I are of the age when we remember the 15-minute John Cameron Swayze news.
Oh, yes.
And the weather with no chroma key.
That's
and all those programs. I remember the kids coming over to my house to watch Howdy Doody, and that was programming for children. Yeah. And now we're talking about the new millennium. It's incredible. But Ron has been, as you know, influential in our town in the field of cable television for many years. Ron was the host of the first show, election night. What year was that? 1985, I think, wasn't it?
From the town hall?
Live from the town hall. And Ron was also on the Board of Selectmen when the original franchise agreement was signed between, it wasn't Time Warner, it was Warner Cable.
That's right.
And so I think we all owe Ron a debt of gratitude, in addition to this honor of Program of the Year, which was Community Forum, and the particular show was the schools debate. That was a great show, and a lot of people talked about that. We had 2 people from the pro side, 2 people from the con side. Maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. 2 people from each position, and it was a great show. It went on for about 2 hours, and it really was a great program. So it's my pleasure to present this award to you, Ron.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been there's 3 things I like to do. I like to talk about politics, I like to cook, and I love music. And those seems to be the three things that I involve myself with. Of course, community forum is political based, but it's informational based, and I think it's very, very important. There's several other programs in Winthrop that are community based with information that people should know about in the town. I'm referring to Carol DeMayo's show, Eye on Winthrop. That's a weekly series. I think it's very, very important that the people in town get to see the other side of the coin, or get to make a decision based on all the facts that are presented to them at any given time. And I enjoy doing that. I also enjoy doing the program Take 5 with Paul Roy, helps me on with music, and occasionally I do a cooking show. I think the last one we did in Bob Noonan's house. Yes, it's about time we do. But I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to work at Community Access Television. It's something I love to do, and I just will keep doing it and keep asking for ideas and keep asking you for you to call in with your comments. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Paul Roy of Elliott, Whittier, Hardy, and Roy Insurance Agency, who has sponsored Community Forum for the last several years. And I know he was recognized a short time ago for his contributions at Local Access, and it's very, very important that other people in town look at the types of things that that organization does for WCAT in terms of financial support and moral support. So thank you very, very much, and I appreciate it. And thank you to all of the folks that have crewed on all of my programs. Thank you.
Do you remember any of those programs, Bill? I don't. Hey, that's back before our time.
Okay, Jim.
Okay.
Welcome to planet Earth. All right, anyway.
Spaceship.
All right. Well, actually, one thing, I think we...
Yeah, we have one more.
We have one more.
And it's way down the bottom, Bill.
Yeah, I'll have to go into, like...
Thank you very much.
Just, I got to remember the combination here. All right, here we go.
It's a special presentation.
Yes,
tonight.
it is, to someone who's very special to this organization.
Very special to a lot of people.
Yes.
Right, Eleanor? Anyhow, without further ado.
Things, of course, at CAT have been very, you know, what's the right word? Trying, there's been a lot of things, a lot of good times, a lot of bad times in this station over the past couple of years, but there's one person that has been a constant who has always been there to help. He was treasurer way back, and he was one of the people that was very responsible for getting our books in order. He is currently the president of our organization, and he has done an outstanding job. He's a man of integrity, he's a man of his word, and he's someone who just will roll up his sleeves and do the work. And you really can't say enough great things about this man, but we did get him a little something in appreciation for all the work he's done for WCAT. So Ron Moses, please come up. Congratulations, Ron.
That's a surprise. You guys kept that quiet.
Yeah, we should.
There we go.
They kept a lot of things quiet tonight, Ron.
Yeah, it's a clock and a plaque, and it says, Ron Moses, President, thank you for your dedication and service to Winthrop Community Access Television, May 12th, 1999. You deserve it, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The clock is symbolic of all the time that Ron has put into this station.
That's very, very nice. I'm really at a loss for words, which everyone I'm sure is happy about. I really do appreciate this recognition. I haven't felt like I've done an awful lot. I love coming to the station. I enjoyed my work as treasurer. I'm enjoying my stint as president, and I kind of like the controversy, to tell you the truth. Thank you very much.
So Ron, do you mind if I put your name as a producer of my show? Is that okay? Can we do that? Eric loves that. Eric loves to hear someone go, oh, we love the controversy. I just saw like the veins pop in his head when he said that. But thank you, Ron. So another round for Ron Moses. He's done an incredible job.
I don't know how many times I drive by this station in the course of a day, but I always see that green Volvo parked out there.
Oh, yeah.
And Eleanor's probably wondering, where the hell is Ron now? Is he back up at the station? He's either at the station or at the golf course, one of the two, and more time here than any place else.
Yes, well, we're very, very lucky to have him. Very, very lucky.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, That's it. I guess we're done. As always, it's a great honor to honor the people that have make the station what it is. Remember, WCAT is a volunteer organization. Everyone who does something for the station, aside for like the 3 staff members, does not get paid for his or her work. And the amount of work that we do, again, getting a national award is an incredible, incredible honor. This was over 1,600 people entered this nationwide competition, and we were in the top 3 in the entire nation. And for a small town, a community access station like this, most people in Winthrop don't know what they have. If you go to other communities and you see what the other stations have to offer, it really just pales in comparison. And it is a great honor to be part of this organization for the amount of time that I have. And I'd just like to give a round of applause to everyone who's worked. Thank you. All right. What? Steve, oh, yes, and we have a new staff member here, actually. Steve Maynard. Where is Steve, anyway? Is he in the back?
Steve just went upstairs.
He just went upstairs. Okay, well, he's a new staff member, and we certainly hope he's going to be a keeper at WCAT. And let's give another round of applause to Casey Quinn, who's been here for a while now, yeah. See,
I remember the night we interviewed Casey, and with a lot of other people that came up, and it just unbelievable. What a talent. I mean, the talent that we have as staff members up here, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, how long have you been working here now, Casey? How long has it been? 9 months. Well, people say that like a month at CT is like a dog year or something like that, so she's actually been working here for several years, so we'd like to thank her very much. And any final words, Jim?
I think you've said it all, Bill.
All right, good night. Thanks for coming.